I have a lot of fun with this. um, oh man, operating on an enormous amount of library, bits and bytes of information, communication platforms, right? Communicators, commenters. Hey, make a comment. So, see, in the olden days, there isn't any time, right? Clocks and gearheads. I've been playing since I was a little child with this AI, okay? That's the truth of it. So you know what a mimicker is, or a copycat, right? So I grew up with copy machines, actually carbon paper. Want to make a copy of something that you decide to scribble and draw things. Now, nature makes it pretty simple if you look at form follows function and all the color codes that represent what you see in your mirror, right? So now you're just down to the most basic fundamental of truth, which is what are you in energy? When you're looking in your mirror, what do you feel magnetically? It's the completion of a circuit. So how fast are you completing circuits? Well, how fast are you vibrating? Okay, so that's pretty basic. So I knew that as a child. So you know that you love to learn. So you realize, hey, there's a lot of commenters out there, which I call communicators, because the energy that they're using to communicate to me with is what I'm going to experience in my mirror. Right? So when I grew up, you had what I call billboards, which are informers. They're informing you of what they are because somebody had to put that billboard up, and they spend an awful lot of energy, batteries, people, workers, using heavy equipment to put the hole in and put the poles up and put the information up. So that's, in other words, they're building a Truman Show, a movie set that you're experiencing. Now you can get into the movies because I studied Hollywood movies. You have props, the background, the setting. So you know they can pull all kinds of information, coded visual information from their library and insert it as a holographic insert. Cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste holographic inserts. Now you're building a reality stream. Okay, so it used to be when they came out with the printing press, right? And if you wanted to put an ad in there because now you're a salesman, right? Because now you're wanting to accumulate money, or if you will, electrons in the form of numbers, right? That allows you to do what? Go buy things. Go buy things with other numbers because they put price tags, which are other numbers. So you're exchanging numbers in a numbers game, right? Now you get an alphanumerical formatting. Formatter. Now you get into 4 arrows on the compass, right? No broken arrows. You know what a broken arrow is. That's a nuclear bomb that they can't find because they lost one. Ever see the movie? What's his name? John Travolta flying a B-2 stealth bomber, deliberately hijacked the plane like he's on a mission, and he deliberately drops it and all the rest of it. So you realize that what's called stick and rudder. You know, have you ever learned how to fly an airplane? There's an old book that I learned when I was a child. One of the most basic fundamentals to learn how to fly a plane, flying on the air currents, electrical currents, alternating currents, magnetic polarity, right? So you want to run what's called trim and balance, the vertical and the horizontal stabilizers. That's a gyrodome. Gyrodomes, right? Yeah. So you know it's the center point of a sphere, but the center point of a cell membrane, a cell phone, pH 1, right? And then you have base, you have alkaline. Welcome to Neo and Trinity. They never want to be separated, right? No. So I think it's sort of ironic because when I look at the sun, when I ground my feet on the rock here, right behind Mauna Kea, which is next to Mauna Loa on the big island of Hawaii, I see when my eyelids are closed, green, right? And then when I look up at the sun, I see pink. It expands and expands and expands towards me, pink. Now you'll get a kick out of this. When I was in 7th grade in Orange County, California, and my mother was a seamstress. She learned how to do this because her adopted parents sent her to what was known as a finishing school in England, which was to learn, if you will, how to be a hostess, like hostess Twinkies, right? Ding dongs, ding dong, the bells in a church steeple, mail, X-Men, Geek Squad, self service, self service gas stations. When you start breaking it all down, you realize it's all the programming. Okay. So, and that's how it works, choosing what you're going to put in RAM, active memory. I got active memory. And so that's when you get into the simple calculator, what you're choosing to put in memory, right? Hey, so, I knew as a child, man, I'm in an illusion. Because you already know that what's love is what real is. Excuse me, what's real is what love is, which is living light, which is a living soul that is in that mirror, that is in that cell, the cross inside of a cell. So I was looking at Gina Maria Colvin-Hill, and she was putting up a comment that was sent to her, right? And the immediate thing that I recognized just looking at the letters arrangements is we're very familiar with what we call the victim victimizer, or what I knew as a child. When you want to put light on the subject, because you are what love is, so the light is going to expose what the truth is, because we know what the truth is, which is not an illusion, right? And so that which represents the underworld or negative polarity, okay, doesn't want to experience the light being put on their lies. Well, now you get into, well, wait a second. How do I know what's true, what's not true? I know what's true because I am what love is. So anything that isn't what love is a measurement of a frequency or a vibration that is communicating to you what it is, which isn't what we are. So what they love to do is create chaos or confusion or distortion or disturb your peace by the things that they comment or say or put in our mirror, what it is that they are, which isn't what we are, which is an illusion. Because you realize that you're simulating. So when you begin to realize what it is they're communicating is what they're communicating, or you experience the communication in a state of peace, in a state of love, in a state of harmony, and a state of balance. So in the olden days, when I was reading the newspaper, if you were a salesman, you could put an ad in, but it cost you numbers of electrons. And then on most newspapers, they had what's called an opinion section. So you could write an opinion to the newspaper and say, well, listen, here's my opinion. OP, op-ed, editors. Now you get into text editors. Now you get into torsion field text editors. Now you get into torsion field movies. Uncoil the movie, reels to reels. Remember that? I grew up with vinyl records, 33 RPMs, revolutions per minute. Revolutions, matrix revolutions. Revolving doors, doors of perception, right? Spinning the top, flush the toilet. So you begin to realize that what's communicating to us, whether it's a newspaper, whether it's an opinion section, whether it's mass media, no matter where the communication is coming from, what does that communication represent in energy that we experience in our mirror? So you can read a newspaper, that's a communication, that's a mirror, that's what's in your mirror. You're experiencing the communication. So now you can up it from a newspaper and a billboard into a cell phone, into a laptop, into a desktop PC. So instead of having to sit down and take the time to write an opinion of what you're experiencing, of what your viewpoint or your door of perception is, now you put it in a little letter with a stamp on it that costs electronic numbers, and you can put it in your mailbox, your domain box address, your ISP address on a motherboard, and you can send that communication via a letter or a typed letter, or however you want to put the communication together. You could use crayons, or you can use cutout particle board or parts of different colored, paper, and then create little tiny letters Okay, I can remember, I think it was the Mad Bomber did it something like that, right? To try and make, hey, we can't figure out who this guy is because he was using plastic gloves in which to do it. Nevertheless, it's a communication. And so what you realize is that you're sending a communication via a letter and it goes to the newspaper. They look at it and decide if it's going to go into the comment section. So now instead of having to go through all that rigmarole, all you got to do is pick up a cell phone and you get to make a comment. Now they can experience the commenter. What are they communicating? No different than a communication in a newspaper in the opinion section. You have an opinion, you have free will, you have free spirit. Are you independent? Are you able to independently communicate what you're feeling, what you're thinking? Now other people get to experience what the communication is communicating to us. So you realize we're in one big communication system. Antennas, computer software terminals, communicating with other terminals, right? Yeah. So when you are what love is, they experience the love you have within you that they're experiencing in them, right? Unless they have resistance. And that resistance is dealing with torque speed. They're in resistance mode to experience the love in them that you're experiencing, we're experiencing in us. They can't experience in them because they got too much resistance or what we call blockage in their circuits. So scale that up from being a human battery, if you will, with the soul and your spiritual essence to the great living spirit inside of a planet ship of the resistance between the polarities to experience being one law, which is being mated. That means that the soul of a king and the soul of a queen decided, hey, we're more powerful and far if we became one. And that's when Neo and Trinity, that was their greatest fear. That was Mr. Smith, the copycat, the cloner. Hit the enter button. How fast can you hit the enter button? Make another one, make another copy, make another copy. Boo, 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 boo. And here comes Mr. Smith coming at Neo. They doesn't want Neo and Trinity coming together because they're more powerful as one. Powerful as one law, which is what love is. Right? So I realized it as soon as I picked up a cell phone, got a Facebook account. Man, there's bots everywhere. It's like an infestation of parasites wanting to disturb your peace, disturb your water worlds, which does what? Create turbulence. So when you get into the central nervous system, they want to burn your bulb out, which means they want to burn the positive side of your current out. So you're going in the other direction. Now you become more dense. Now you become more like what they are, which is the underworld, instead of what we are, which is what love is. And that's the polarity game. Because they're not in balance, right? AC current. Which way you going? Up, baby. Ascending spirals, descending spirals, ascending spirals, descending spirals, compression and expansion. Look at all the volcanoes going on, popping like crazy. Pop goes the weasel. We love you, Gina. Have a great day. We love you all. Be good to yourselves.